So it's officially official. TikTok, CapCut, and anything else that was owned by ByteDance has gone dark in the United States. Now, if you're like me, you might be wondering, as a creator, what are the next steps that I need to do, and what should I do to avoid these kind of things in the future? And what are the tools that other creators are going to be using to create their content? Like most of you this morning, I went to go check up on the status of TikTok, so I opened up the app just like any other day, and we all got this notice saying, sorry, TikTok isn't available right now. It goes on to say that a law banning TikTok has been enacted in the US. Unfortunately, that means that you can't use TikTok for now. We are fortunate that the president has indicated that he will work with us on a solution to reinstate TikTok once he takes office. Please stay tuned. So this message is a little vague and a little cryptic at the same time, and it tells me that not even the company itself knows exactly what's happening. So I urge you to be cautious when listening to people that are saying this is what's going to happen and it'll be back. It's a possibility that any of those things could happen, but we don't know for certain. It's difficult to tell the future, right? So in lieu of that, TikTok itself, I've been a creator on TikTok for several years, creating original content for myself and for other brands, and I've earned an income with this platform. The first thing that we're going to be talking about are CapCut alternatives. Losing TikTok in of its own was a major hit, but for my personal workflow and the stuff that I do, losing CapCut was a massive blow. And I say that because it's my opinion that CapCut is by far the best mobile video editor available to creators like you and me. It's just simply the best. Here are 3 alternatives that you should consider downloading and start getting familiar with. In no particular order, number 1, VN Editor. Number 2, InShot. And lastly, number 3, Rush by Adobe. A little bit of a disclaimer. These 3 apps that I just mentioned are nowhere near as good as CapCut, but they are a good substitute while all of this voting and all of this legislative process works itself out. So I encourage you to download all 3 of them. They do have free versions and they also have paid tier versions. Download them, check out the free versions, see which one you like, because you got to pick one of them. And what these editors are good for, like CapCut, is that they are non-linear editor-esque. There's nothing that's going to be like Adobe Premiere or Final Cut on a full-fledged computer, but you need to have a non-linear editor so that you can stack footage on top of itself so that it has a layered system, so that you can put overlays, captions, all kinds of stuff on them. These 3 apps, like I said, they're not as good as CapCut, but they're good while we get all of this stuff sorted out. So go ahead and download them. I've linked them down in the description so you can get them for yourself. And this brings me to a very important point. Me as a creator, I've known about backup systems, and I know and understand how valuable your own content is. And you should feel the exact same way. Every piece of content that you make, any original piece of work that you create, that you spend time making, that you use to market other people's products, your own services and goods, need to be treated as valuable assets. Assets that earn income. Because if you used these apps as a creator and you earned income from them, those videos that you created brought that money in. And now if you didn't download anything off of TikTok, your original videos, or you used TikTok's camera app to film all of your stuff because you liked all of those beauty filters or whatever kind of filters like masks and stuff, those are all gone. And that's why I want to urge you that moving forward, the number one thing that you need to be doing is creating content outside of the apps using your own camera app and then importing them into an editor and adding any of the edits that you like. Because right now, the people that didn't do that and only use TikTok or CapCut cameras to film their content, and you didn't take the time to back them up onto a separate hard drive, all of that content is lost for right now, and you won't be able to extract it until the apps are back up and running. Now, it is very possible that on Monday, everything could be back to normal and this could be just a blip. But it's also very possible that all of your hard work that you spent years making and didn't back back up, it's just gone forever. So I urge you, if you're a professional creator that relies on your content for creating income, even if it's a singular dollar that you've made from one video, that's a valuable asset that you need to own and you need to be able to have control of. Because today it's CapCut, ByteDance, and all of these other apps that are gone, but they were able to do this so fast and so quickly that now it's gone. And I say this about all of the Meta apps, any other social media platform that has a camera, that has filters, Snapchat. You need to download all of that stuff if you're a serious content creator that relies on this media to create income for you. You need to download them and you need to back them up onto your own personal hard drive that you control. Because all of the videos and media that you created on CapCut and TikTok, they're possibly gone if you didn't download them, which is a real shame. So moving forward, I always urge you to consider having your raw footage and your final edits on a separate hard drive, like your computer, an SSD, or an HDD, a hard drive that is in your own control, and you keep it safe so that when you create media and an app disappears, you have all of the raw footage that you can create and re-edit again if you need to, or you can upload it onto a new social media platform that's going to be all the rage here in a couple of years. Again, I don't mean to be doom and gloom. It's possible that ByteDance, CapCut, and TikTok all come back tomorrow, but what if it doesn't? All of your footage is going to be gone. So I'm trying to really press that point here. Develop a workflow that allows you to create content and back up that raw footage or the finished edited product onto a separate hard drive that isn't the app itself. The second point that I want to make is keeping an open mind and exploring new social media platforms. If you are a fanatic of TikTok like I was, you may be really hesitant to try other social media apps like Snapchat or anything by Meta. I get it. It could be painful. Personally, I never really had a 100% true affinity to just TikTok. I've always diversified all of my media and to all of these other platforms. And moving forward, I encourage you to do the exact same thing. Just like backing up your footage is a reassurance or a backup plan in case something goes wrong, I've always shared my content cross-platform without any, with any of the CapCut or branding on top of it, so that the video looks like it was natively made in an app without it having a watermark. So create your content and then store it, and then cross share on multiple platforms throughout your entire journey, or at least keep it backed up so that in case one of these apps does go dark, like TikTok just did, you're able to take your old work that you've made, your assets, your video assets, and then share them across other platforms. Now, I know that Reels and other Meta platforms and other social media platforms don't have an algorithm like TikTok. I get it, but this is just what we have to do as content creators and just cross-share across all multiple platforms. I've learned over the years by sharing content on 4 or 5 different platforms that every platform has a very, very different audience, and you might be surprised with what you find with sharing the exact same content across different platforms. The platforms that I'm going to be focusing on even harder, like I have before, and to be honest, TikTok was probably my least used platform and my least popular one. I've found a lot more success on Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels, also on YouTube Shorts, and Snapchat. All of these other platforms are very, very viable, and they're great alternatives, and you also need to learn how to use these things if you want to be a successful content creator and try to let me back up. Let me say this. It's very similar to investing with like real money, right? You never want to put all of your eggs into one basket like a lot of people did with TikTok. And now all of the eggs in one basket are just completely gone, right? Because with TikTok going dark, you lost everything, potentially, right? It could come back, yes, but you didn't hedge your bets. You didn't add any kind of insurance to your content strategy. So I really encourage you to consider exploring other platforms, even though you hate them. I get it. It's cringeworthy to you. To me, I've always done it because I've seen the power and the safety net of using and learning other platforms across all of social media. So learn how to use every single platform. Focus on one, sure, like TikTok, focus on it and go hard on it. Back up your content and have that insurance policy that allows you, in case anything goes wrong, like it just did, you'll have the content to upload all to these other social media platforms, and you'll also be first to market, essentially, by sharing all of your old videos that you focused on TikTok onto Instagram, and now you have a library of content that you don't have to restart from scratch. You can pick up right where you left off and start building that audience. I'm telling you right now that with TikTok being gone, people are scrambling, finding other alternatives to try to build up that audience again, and people are really panicking. I get it. But if you had this strategy all along, which I encourage you to follow moving forward, please do so. All right, so that's going to be it for me today. I was sharing two things, right? The number one thing is to make sure that you store all of your raw footage and your edited files on a separate hard drive or on your computer that isn't native to the app, because you always want to have a backup. It's just a good insurance policy. Number two is to not put all of your eggs in one basket like TikTok. Make sure that you are posting your video and your video assets across multiple platforms, and this will allow you to learn how other platforms' algorithms and their user interface works, so that you don't skip a beat and you're able to upload with great consistency, assuming that you had followed the first tip here. Anybody that tells you definitively what's going to be happening is just not being truthful, and they're just guessing. It could be back tomorrow, but it also could be gone forever. That's all that I have for you today. Make sure to leave a comment down below. Let me know how you were impacted by these apps going dark, and I'll see you in the next one. Adios.